All right, Dave, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Let's get started here. And we know beforehand, Brendan Pajemski is dealing with a stomach issue, but is active. We'll see. His game is very focused on having energy, though, so we'll see how he's looking. And also, we're simulcasting on YouTube and on Twitter. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. But I do want to tell y'all, it looks like it is active right now. There is a pause button now. Are y'all seeing that on playback? So if we are ahead of your broadcast, you should be able to go backwards so you can sync up. So this is going to be one of our last YouTube videos. We're going to be exclusively on playback going forward. Also, the other thing is that playback, if you have a VPN, you can just watch the game in that window by logging in with your League Pass account. All of that prevarication out of the way. What do we got here, Danny?
We have a really interesting game, and it was a defense first contest in game 1. I expect that to continue in game 2, but how the Warriors defend Alperen Şengün is going to be something I watch closely. Of course, defending Stephen Curry on heaves at the end of shot clocks. All of those things will be important.
I guess we can also ask the chat if people want us to watch the end of Cleveland, Miami too. Van Vliet has the matchup against Butler early here. Butler going to try to take him right into the post. They want a screen off ball for Steph. Butler moves it to Green, who's not being guarded by Brooks, and Green has really been struggling from outside lately. Going to screen for Green out of the corner. They're going to want to get him going right away. Butler switches on to him. Now Moody gets back. Good communication by Golden State. And Green, his first attempt as an ISO. He's got Thompson along the baseline. On Thompson, he eluded two defenders with a beautiful double pump finish.
And that was a nice cut, too, by men to get in there.
Yeah. Curry against Thompson. Let's see if they go a little more set it and forget it here with Thompson on Curry.
And that's the Amen Thompson pressuring Steph Curry. Curry's just going to throw the ball sometimes when he's pressured, and that was an example there.
Yeah, those are some of Steph's worst passes when he just kind of gives up and throws it over the top of the guy in a big looper that gets intercepted. Here's Green switched on to by Curry. Going to back up. I don't like backing up there. He was in good position. Now he's going to try again, sprays it out, and Green got the interception. Now it's Pajemski. He's got Moody with him. Moody will go into Van Vliet, who clubs him.
Yeah, they had to call that foul, right? I think probably the ref on the far side whistled it.
Yeah, and Jalen Green, like, he's at a spot there with Steph Curry on him where he could just rise up. I don't like when guys in an isolation decide they're going to back up. Hey, he turned the corner. Steph Curry is waiting there. Just continue. Make him stop you. Moody missing that first one. Golden State hasn't scratched yet. 1:15 in.
And by the way, Cleveland is up 2 with 4:25 to go. Atkinson called a timeout. That was a lane violation by Şengün.
I kind of want to watch the end of that one, honestly.
I'm down. We can see what people say.
All right, let's see. We'll find a chance to do it. Also, it'll save me some work for later. I have to go back and watch it as Green finally hits his three-pointer from up top. They are certainly featuring him. They've gone to on all three possessions. He's now trying to pressure Pajemski. Pajemski just still on the ball. This Houston pressure is causing real problems right now. Can they keep it up? Screen off ball for Steph. They're getting very physical with it. Butler has to go in on Brooks. Brooks stays down. Butler, impossible shot. They go after it, and the Rockets have it. This is the Rockets team I thought we would get in this series. Şengün going to back in on Green. Is everything going right for Houston? Yes, it is. Nice pass.
Well, except that Amen has to shoot free throws here. He was 0 for 4, I believe, in game 1.
Yeah, so those of y'all who are on YouTube, just want to let you know we will be moving to playback exclusively in a few days, but playback has a rewind button now, so you can still sync up if we are ahead of you. And yeah, let's do it, Danny. Let's switch over to Cavs Heat. Actually, never mind. They're in a break right now.
They're coming back out of the break.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, good. That's what it says.
They're not saying Tice is it. I don't think they don't have him.
Yeah, so I haven't caught as much of this one. I was watching Boston, Orlando, and Cleveland was absolutely on fire early, continuing a trend in this series where they've gone crazy in the first half and then have struggled in the second. Tyler Hero's been able to get loose a lot better as well. And then this latest jag by Miami, they're able to get truly back into contact with some offensive rebounding against a smaller Cleveland group. And we got a 2-point game. Cleveland looks like they've got their starters in.
Yes, and Miami has Highsmith and Jovic.
Yeah, Jovic, remember, has missed like 2 months. Here's Garland off the Strus screen. They want to go at Hero. Garland wants it back. Hero denies him. Strus turns away. Mitchell will have to create. Turns the corner on Highsmith. Floater is good. What a shot there. That's as good as you can get defensively. Back to a 2-possession lead now. Mitchell doesn't get anywhere off that first screen. He's just going to try Garland. Knocks it back. Look out for Bam on the baseline. That was beautiful. A big theme in between games 1 and 2 was the Cavs overloading their defense, Heat needing to take advantage of the weak side. They did it that time. And Highsmith runs through Strus.
And Cleveland is in the bonus, so that is free throws. Cleveland has only committed 2 fouls themselves. Foul trouble overall, no one. No one has more than 3 fouls.
Yeah, I can't believe that NBA TV didn't accurately note that they're in the bonus.
Yeah, I have so many score bug thoughts all the time.
And the Blazers one is the best. I mean, everyone just needs to use that one.
Yeah, they could just copy it. Because I think theirs has team fouls and challenges. I would like to see it change to fouls drawn just so everything stays the same with the bonus. But there are other ways to fix that.
So let me tell you about the Heat shot chart. 2 of 2 at the rim, 17 of 20 upper paint, and I would say maybe only 5 of those makes are anywhere close to the restricted area. Strus switching on to Mitchell. They are going with Davion Mitchell to create. Then they try to find Hero. Garland staying with Hero well. Hero gets to the spot, rises up. That's where he's most deadly. That hard right-hand drive, plant, and he gets great elevation for a guy his size. Here's Mitchell. Fade away high not off the glass, actually straight in over Hero.
Couple of big 2s from Donovan Mitchell here to keep the Cavs in the lead.
Mobley is on Jovic. Allen just got the steal. An auto pass by Jovic, who is rusty. Didn't look to see whether Allen was there. Great play by a center. Now Mitchell has Jovic. Trying to run the time down. Plants, puts his foot in the ground, and that is such a difficult move for a bigger guy to deal with. That's one of Mitchell's signatures, that fake hard right-handed drive, plant, and then step back into a 3. He can match it here, though, off the pick and roll. Nice again. They opened that side up, found Bam, had to rotate, and Highsmith was wide open.
And I think Garland turned his left ankle. We'll take a look at him here.
Where did that happen?
On the contest.
Yeah, he's trying to walk it off. He had an ankle issue 2 years ago as well. Mitchell right back over Davion Mitchell. What a performance by him. He's got 10 points in a row. And they just said 17 in the fourth. Hero splits the defense and scores. They ran him off the line. Probably a good thing. Up 7 with under 2 minutes to go.
And also nice action there from the Heat to get both rim protectors out of on the floor, and so there was no one there to help on the Hero drive.
Going at Hero again through Mitchell. They're going to double team here. Hero hedges. Mitchell going at Davion, gets it back. Strus sets a screen. Mitchell tried to fall down. Strus airballs the three.
Oof.
But that's not the end of the world. They ran 21 seconds off, and the Heat don't get a chance for transition. I mean, some of these shots are ridiculous. Like, that's actual good defense by Hero. That was not by Jovic. Davion rejects the screen. He's got Jovic in the corner. Mitchell with a late switch, and Jovic airballed it. It'll go the other way off of Highsmith.
This has not been the best stretch for Spo in terms of having him close this game. I can't say how he played for most of it because we're focusing on other things, but yeah.
This could do it right here if the Cavs can score. He'll push it to a 3-possession game. Mitchell wants Highsmith. He wants to clear out. Goes hard right. Help comes. He floats it way up over the backboard. Thought he got fouled. I disagree.
I don't think he got fouled there.
No, that was a wild shot.
And Miami has 2 timeouts here. I don't think you need to advance it here, but they do need to be cognizant of moving quickly.
Yeah, they need a 3 here. Hero's looking for it. Couldn't get it off with Allen switching. Good switch. Allen pressuring him. Forces him inside the arc. He goes for the foul, and he's gotten it.
Yeah, the problem there for Jared Allen was that he kept his right arm out. It was on Hero's body, and so the refs are going to call that pretty consistently if they see it.
Did you see that exchange? That was amazing. Kenny Atkinson was like, that was a bullshit call. The referee was like, no, he hit him on the left arm. And then the bench yelled at him to challenge it. And Kenny Atkinson, his face looking at the referee when he called the timeout was awesome. That was so good. Please show that again. Now, he better fucking be right or it's going to be really funny.
Quick update on the other game. It is currently Houston 13, Golden State 7. Amen Thompson made both of those free throws. He has 6 points leading the game. Moses Moody has 4. Steph has 1 3.
Now, yes, I would say this is either an offensive foul. So, yeah, Allen, he's kind of got his arm on there. I'd say that's incidental contact. Hero jumps in.
Yeah,
that is either
deviated. That's
foul or it's nothing.
I agree.
Yeah, that is a rule change from 2-3 years ago. A very good rule change. Now, if Hero's in front of him and stops and he runs into his back, that's a foul. But not only does Hero jump sideways, but really the only contact occurs when Hero does jump sideways.
DMR said, does anybody find the pause and play back? It's called rewind mode. It should kind of pop in.
I think it's like kind of up at the upper right. All right, let's see. Yeah, that can't be a foul. That cannot be a foul. There it is. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's one of my favorite replays ever. There we go.
Well, and that's the other big difference between not calling an offense foul beyond the foul on Hero is that it would have been Cavs ball. Now it's a jump ball.
So a big jump ball here. If Cleveland can get this, the game is over. If Miami can get it, you really got to go for a 3. I think Cleveland has done a great job of switching and running them off the line. So any two going to do this jump. It'll be Allen and Adebayo. Mitchell and Hero jockeying for position. Adebayo steals it. Allen goes down. Can they get a three off here? Allen slow to his feet. Mitchell goes in. He's got Jovic open. Oh, the Heat have had their chances here. Mobley has it. They're going to swarm him and foul him.
There was a chance there maybe to force a turnover, but Bam went in a little too aggressively for that. And to be fair to Nikola Jovic, 9 points, 24 minutes. Let me see what his plus minus was. +6, even with his participation in this run that the Cavs have had.
Yeah, noteworthy that it is Andrew Wiggins has been out.
Yes, no Wiggins, no Ware. Highsmith and Jovic. Highsmith was better than Wiggins in the part of the game I watched.
Yeah. All right, we could probably switch back here. And we see Moody hit a wide open corner three. Making more shots from the outside. The Warriors helped off the strong side corner as, again, Steph really getting pressured up here early.
Yeah, this is a lot closer to the Houston defense. And I mean, Houston's defense, they held the Warriors to 10 points in a 12-minute stretch. Like their defense was very good in game one. It was their offense that really let them down.
Yeah, I didn't feel though that they disrupted Steph and Jimmy the way that they could.
Agreed.
Moody, yeah, Brooks held Curry up top there pretty obviously.
Mobley made both of those free throws, so the Cavs are up 7 with 26 to go. Timeout Heat.
Yeah, Gary Payton had a word after that foul for Dillon Brooks. Of course, Dillon Brooks nearly ended Payton's 2022 postseason, and part of why the Warriors won in the finals was Payton was able to come back. Oh, Green almost threw it away. Again, good pressure on Steph again. Green gets it. I thought Curry fouled him there. Actually, they're going to continue now.
And there's only 2 seconds left on the shot clock as well. So this is going to be Houston ball, however it happens. Because should be a center jump with Curry and Jalen Green. You can't get a shot in 2 seconds off of that.
Yeah, this has all the hallmarks right now of that game 2 boost for the home team that lost game 1 with the effort level we're seeing. Golden State has now made 3 of 6 threes. Houston, though, 2 of 5. Steph does win it, and no, the Warriors do get it back, and they say Houston had possession, so they have a new shot clock. Moody just fires it. That's not a good shot.
No, I mean, if he
didn't realize the shot clock situation. Green trying to front Şengün in the post here. Brooks gets it to him. Şengün passes over his head.
I think Şengün stepped out.
Warriors have yet to make a 2-point field goal. Moody screening for Steph. He tries to cut through Şengün, and then Moody cut to the basket, but Green was there off that split cut action to make the play.
And Dillon Brooks' pressure on Draymond Green really made that pass hard. Not that Draymond Green needs a lot of pressure sometimes to throw a bad pass.
Green up top. Steph comes off, and this is going to be Brooks for a foul. That's Brooks' second foul. Thanks to those of y'all who are helping to figure out the rewind mode. All you guys who are like sad that we're not going to do YouTube anymore, why do you like YouTube so much? Just because you have to download something else? Because I think playback is actually better now that they have the rewind button. And also we actually make some money that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you don't have League Pass, playback still works. You still get the audio. It should be the exact same experience on playback, and also no ads, which there are on YouTube. So, does playback work in the background?
Not sure. YouTube
Yeah.
doesn't though, right?
It does if you have premium,
Oh, okay.
which I do. As here, all right. Let's get back to the game. Sorry about all this tech stuff. I got to lock in here. That was a nice play though. That Houston, their half court offense has looked much better so far. That's probably the biggest thing. Even more as Peyton goes in, he's tripped from behind. And what happened to him?
I mean, I thought I saw a trip there.
Yeah, is Peyton did he land on his shoulder or something? Yeah, I don't know. You can never tell with him. He always looks like he's one step away from a limb falling off. No, he looks okay. Almost got the steal. Şengün spin move, just lost it. And we'll stay here. Post says, no, I didn't really touch him. Let's see what happened to Peyton. Oh, yeah, it looked like the right shoulder got caught as he got tripped.
And they didn't call foul on that. Maybe he tripped on his own foot, but I thought I saw Kurt called timeout. It is officially over in Cleveland. Cavs 121, Heat 112.
Why is Jaime Jaquez regressed?
I mean, it's a lot of different things with him. I'm going to look at the jumper. I remember the jumper, but like
his jumper has been terrible. And he's also had like a lot of little nagging injuries too. Like couldn't get back in a rhythm.
So Jaquez ended the year actually with pretty similar 3-point numbers: 32% on 3.4 per 36, 31% on 3.1 this year. So not dramatically different, but went from making 56% of his twos to 51. That's a pretty important thing, and it was just also a lack of consistency from him. I think that was one of the other big things. Yeah, and as one of the commenters said, his turnover rate did go up significantly, and Spo hates that.
Oh yeah, I'm deep. I am definitely deep in the cave because the darker it is, I just get like a little bit of light. It's very eye fatiguing to be staring at your screen this whole time, and then especially if we're doing like a more polished video episode, I actually have to turn the light on, which kills my eyes. What are the odds the Knicks lose in a Thibodeau 5-game special? Wow, that would be Tibbs would be fired before Game 5 if that happened. Yeah, let me see if there's actually on mobile whether there's a rewind button on the mobile app for playback. I'll see if I can find that out for you guys.
I'll see if I can answer some questions.
Yeah, this is like I actually talked to them today, and they said today is like the first day they're rolling it out, so it may not be available on mobile yet. Yeah, we don't make a lot of money from these streams, but we get at least a little something on playback, so it definitely helps us if you're on playback instead.
Why is the low post split action so deadly? Because there's a lot of things for the defense to react to, and when it's a low post one, usually if they make a mistake, it's going to be a layup or a dunk. So or potentially a three.
The key is that the ball is below the action and then you have good shooters. The big thing that makes it tough is you're worried about the shooter coming off. And also if you're switching, it's really hard to go from guarding the shooter to then getting beneath the guy who's cutting the basket. And then because it's in the post, the ball is beneath the action. And so you have a great angle to pass it to the guy going back door. Really, the best way to guard it is to bring somebody over from the weak side to take away the back cut.
Warriors have a 65 offensive rating and slightly better in the half court than in transition, but of course, small sample size.
And this is the big number to me. 5 turnovers, 3 by Stephen Curry, although
Yeah.
only 2 of those are steals by the Rockets. Oh, 2 of the 5. All right, back to work here. Golden State down by 9. Eason goes right at Steph, forces him off the right hand. Sengun has to fire it up. Nice rebound by Curry. Throws it ahead to post. Nobody running with him yet. Up top, Butler. Green wants to post up. No, they leave Butler to just attack, and he goes right at Eason. Beautiful move there by Butler. I would hope for better defense by Eason.
Yeah, I've largely liked Eason on bigger players, but just didn't hold firm enough there on Butler.
Screen for Sengun, who screens for Green. Green blowing right in and dunks it. Quentin Post is getting lit up right now. Steph fires from way out. Not there. Rebounded by Smith.
And you can tell he's forcing it a little bit. He can make those shots, but that wasn't exactly what he wanted there.
And I don't like that they're going with, as now they're going to have Smith shoot over post. I don't like, and they're lucky, the Golden State is, that it goes off of Eason. I would rather have Draymond still on Sengun and put post on Smith or Eason or something like that, because Sengun is just such a good pick and roll player.
For their part, you've talked about how Houston's half-court offenses look better. 1.06 points per play in the half court.
Yeah, they've gotten, more stuff at the rim, really, than they had at any point in the half court. Like, how many dunks do they have already? Like 3 in the half court. Healed on the attack. There's that dribbling Jimmy Butler asked him not to do. Steph working Smith. That's just absolutely magical.
For shot making like that against a much bigger player who's a good defender, very impressive.
And there's the strength of Steph, too. That guy's 6'10". He just shouldered him out of the way. Here's Amen Thompson, surprised by the contest. Oh! Uh-oh. Thompson was surprised by the contest of Green.
No, Amen Thompson undercut him.
On purpose?
No.
No, I saw what happened, obviously.
I don't think it was on purpose.
No, I think I was, just trying to say it chronologically, and so
apologies.
That doesn't look great for Butler. Of course, we saw the same thing with Steph about 3-4 weeks ago. That was quite the fall by Butler. And Butler is a tough guy. Yeah, that's, and Amen got hit.
Draymond pushed. I think Draymond might have pushed.
Yeah, Draymond did actually give Amen a little bit of a shove to try to go get the rebound. Or no, I wouldn't say that. Draymond maybe was holding him. I don't think there's anything untoward by anyone there.
No.
But that is tough for Butler.
It's a bad fall. Right on the lower back tailbone.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong by men there. Nothing wrong really by Draymond. And of course, Jimmy Butler just a victim of circumstance.
Yeah, for those of y'all, again, you can sync up by hovering on desktop, and then there's a rewind button. Thanks so much for jumping on there. I've got distracted. I'm going to try to ask our guys here if there's a pause button on mobile.
And Butler missed the first. He has had trouble with free throws in recent games, though the context here is very different. He's presumably in a lot of pain.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at how Butler is moving. It was an under the backbreaker that time for Houston. Sent Butler to the line. Yeah, it's Butler's normal rotation to stay in. Pajemski comes over, tried to take a charge. Here's Smith on the drive. Good contest from behind, but Smith much more controlled. Just one quick dribble. That's probably all you want from him before he can get himself into trouble. Looney matched up with Adams. Pajemski, good denial by Holiday, who's getting his first minutes of the series. Good screen by Looney against the drop coverage. Santos is going to get called for the push.
Yeah, he got the rebound, but he got the rebound because he made sure the other guy couldn't jump. And Jimmy Butler coming out. Is he going to go straight to the locker room here? I think he will.
Yeah, that's not looking great. And I mean, that's the sort of thing that Steph had to miss 2-3 games. Maybe he would have played if it was the playoffs, but it's a little bit of a struggle. So no Draymond, no Steph, no Jimmy on the floor right now. This is a danger time for Golden State, already down 8. Green missed it, and Hield shielded the rebound. Okay, so the pause button on mobile is coming tomorrow, I am told. So we will be on YouTube the next few times or so. Into the post, Pajemski. They screen away for Hield here. Adams does not come out at all. Yeah, I would actually try to get Adams further on the floor here because no one's going to beat you behind the plate. Eason going to his right hand.
That's a confident finish there by him.
He's got a lot of confidence. There's Santos in transition. This could get away from Golden State right now.
Yeah, and as a couple people mentioned in the comments, I think this is the time for Jonathan Kuminga.
Who?
Kuminga.
Oh, he's on the team?
Allegedly.
There's Looney off the split cut and not close. Houston can get a 2-for-1 here if they hustle. Back up to Jalen Green. He wants someone to come set the screen. They're too slow, and they're not going to get the 2-for-1. Adams actually didn't recognize it. A blow by Green, but he blew a tire on the finish. He can't believe it. He thought he was tripped, and I might agree with him. Does he have photos of Curry's wife? No, if he did, then he would actually get to play. That's how it works. You blackmail the guy into playing.
Into what you want.
not into not playing you.
Unless you're Bradley Beal.
Oh, interesting. So this is an out of bounds. They're going to challenge this with the idea that it was a foul that caused the out of bounds. Now, is that foul proximate to him losing the ball out of bounds?
Yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah, I guess Moody might also just hit the ball here. It's definitely off a Green last in terms of who touched it.
I don't think there's a foul there.
Moody hits his right arm.
Does he?
Yeah, like his right elbow, or yeah.
But he makes contact with the ball first.
Yeah, does he?
I think he does. Yeah.
But he also does it. Does he knock it out of his hands yet at that point? Because it's the PJ Washington Shea rule could be in play here too. And is there a trip? No, there isn't.
I don't think so. He gets pretty good elevation there.
Yeah.
From ZDH, is Jalen Green actually a good player? Oh, he's at least good. I don't think he's up to great yet, but he has the talent to. And his defensive improvement's very important.
So I don't see a foul here. Like that low sideline camera. Maybe this one will show us. Let's see.
Maybe Santos gets him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens here. I didn't see anything that was like so obvious, but I've certainly been surprised plenty these days. Is Kaninga in the long-term plans? Are you expecting to be a big trade package? Well, here, let's see what they say here first.
Foul on Santos, shooting foul, Jalen Green. Yeah, and I saw the left arm thing at the very end when they went to that angle. I hadn't been watching Santos, but yeah, that's foul.
Yeah, I make the mistake sometimes on these of only looking at whoever is closest and missing the second one. So good challenge there by Ime Udoka. And Santos called for the foul, and Jalen Green gets a couple of free throws. Much better start for him. As far as whether he's actually good, a Steve podcast guest, Jerry Engelman, said, how good would Houston be if they didn't have Jalen Green? And they would certainly be better if they had a better player of that type in that role, but they don't. So I think if you just took him off the team, no, they wouldn't be better.
I mean, their defense is plenty good with him. It's not like they need to replace him for that reason.
Yeah, Steph back in here, last possession with a 4-second differential. Kuminga getting into the action immediately. They throw it ahead to him early. He goes and missed it. They went very early. Hield got the rebound, though. Now they can get the last shot. Hield still on the ball. Jimmy Butler, fortunately, can't watch it. Hield gets by Parker. Somebody said Jabari Parker in the comments last time, and I just called him Jabari Parker. Jalen Green walked in the backcourt. Smith, of course, is who Buddy Hield blew by there.
Are they calling something here?
Yeah, it's a walk.
Oh, the travel. Okay.
Yeah.
There's only 0.3 left, so only Derek Fisher can make a shot. Green also got slightly hit in the face, but he had traveled first.
Yeah, 0.3. So this is the absolute lowest you can get catch and shoot, right?
Correct.
But you still really need to throw it up to the rim here. They throw it up there to Moody, can't get it. And Houston, great start here, 28-18 for them, as they are well off to that home game one loser burst so far.
Offensive rating so far, 112 for the Rockets, 64 for the Warriors. And a big part of that is the Warriors half a point per transition opportunity. A whole point for the Rockets is way worse than average, but double the Warriors. Let me get to answer some questions. Enabling Jimmy really changes the dynamic of the series. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jimmy Butler was huge in game one, and I mean, maybe it's Kuminga, but the Warriors' general lack of a suitable replacement is a huge part of it. That it's not only, and this is something that comes up a lot. It's not only if Jimmy can't play, it's also if he's a diminished version of himself and can. Like that's a real challenge too. What is Amen Thompson's ceiling? Best perimeter defender in basketball, and depending on which version of ceiling, if we're talking 100th percentile ceiling, potentially still on-ball player, though probably not on-ball star, like I dreamed at one point.
Surprised by how much Guy Santos has played this series? No, not really. He's definitely a bit of a security blanket for Kerr. I think he fits better in this series than a more isolation-oriented series. Like the Lakers series, he would just get smoked immediately. But this one, hustle, transition, getting rebounds, make an open shot, like that actually is a reasonable fit for him.
Are the Clippers the second best team in the playoffs? In the whole playoffs, no. But in the Western Conference, if Kawhi's playing like this, maybe.
Would the Warriors be in a better place if they had traded the Kuminga pick?
I have
I'm sure
no
they
idea what
considered it.
I have no idea what was on the table then.
I don't think there's that much. I mean, those picks are hard to because you're like, okay, we'll trade that for a solid rotation guy. I don't remember anything being where I was like, oh, they should offer the pick for this guy who's going to change their fortunes.
Especially when in the Warriors situation at the time where the matching salary is really tricky because if you're going to bring back a guy, then you have to send somebody out.
Yeah, and they had Clay coming back from injury the next year as well. I think that was a complication.
From Smooth Monty, how likely is it that Houston gets their not Jalen Green from the draft or Shepard? They have more premium draft assets than some teams do, so there's actually a chance there. I think it's going to come via trade, just because that's how this generally happens. But the problem is the guys who are truly at the level that they need are very, very hard to get by trade. But Houston has some of the best assets to trade of anybody, and especially of teams that are looking to make that kind of trade. So I don't know who's going to open up, but I think somebody will in the next 18 months, and the Rockets should be all over that. Like I'm saying better than Fox, like somebody who can really move the needle for them.
Oh, Pat Spencer time. Wow. So Spencer has almost operated as a backup point guard for Steve Kerr. He is pretty physical, can't shoot at all. And there he goes. He's going to go right to the basket for a layup. Dillon Brooks just was not ready.
Fascinating background for Pat Spencer, elite lacrosse player who only picked up basketball late.
Yeah, and the 7-8 matchup was the Spencer Bowl. His brother Cam Spencer plays for the Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, Şengün just airmailed that. They're going to the double big. Green is in drop coverage. Switches late on to Brooks. Brooks going to try Green. I mean, that's just a terrible decision. He makes that shot. Oh, Quentin Post getting involved with Steven Adams. Post was attempting to show that he wasn't doing anything. Let's see what happens here. And this doesn't look like much either way.
No, not really. And of course, Draymond getting into it with Dillon Brooks, as always.
This doesn't need a review to me.
No.
Nobody was engaged in any kind of pushing afterwards. So they're going to get Brooks here for a foul afterwards on Draymond, and that's his third. Amen is also saddled with 3. Is Draymond the best ever at getting a tech and then not getting a second? No, that would be Rasheed Wallace. Statistically.
And I think they called double techs on Adams and Post, and I have no idea what Adams did to deserve a technical foul there.
Or Post.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If anyone did, it was Post, but I don't think either deserved it.
Zone defense, Kuminga has missed a layup and just got it stolen in the middle. I like the idea of putting him in the middle there. Post got in the air on Van Vliet. Here's Şengün guarded by Kuminga. They should get out of his way here. He's got the advantage. Draymond with the fake double. Oh, and he completely fooled Şengün. That's the second time he's done that on Şengün in this series. Spencer plays more of a point guard. They figure if Jimmy's going to be out, they need more playmaking. That was a pass right at the knees of Hield. Terrible look by Green. He had nowhere to go, even if he had caught it. Van Vliet bothered by Hield. Adams will lay the wood on the screen. Van Vliet fires his three-pointer in and out, tipped out, but Kuminga couldn't recover, and it'll be Houston ball. No, a loose ball foul.
I'd like to see this. So Şengün.
Yeah, don't challenge this. You never win on a loose ball foul challenge. Both teams going zone as their primary group right now. Healed. Deep three over Şengün is off. Spencer, rebound goes over his head. 3-on-2. Eason leaves it for Şengün. Good patience. Smoked the layup. Tipped around again. Still tipped, and I think that was Eason who got it. Spencer on a hard driving move. Adams came over to bother him. Yeah, Spencer a little out of control there. He gets into the paint. If he slows down, he could make a pass. Van Vliet, corner three. Van Vliet ran into Draymond. Draymond shoves Van Vliet out of the way. Here's Şengün, lefty hook rolling across the lane. Timeout, Steve Kerr. It's a 14-point game, and I would imagine we're going to see Steph back in. But perhaps more importantly, Jimmy Butler has not been able to return.
If Jimmy Butler doesn't play in the remainder of the first half, then the Rockets are outplaying the Warriors even without him, or even with him. But I'd be very confident, especially with the home team first game loser bump. But Jimmy Butler's injury is massively important to the rest of the series if he's limited or can't play. But the Rockets have been better than the Warriors in this game anyway.
Why isn't Şengün doing anything? People were talking about the guy like he's mini Jokic, unless he's guarded by an elite big. He is being guarded by the best defensive player this generation. So that is part of it.
Quentin Post.
And he was good in game one, too. Like, I don't think you can expect any more from him, given the Rockets spacing. He smoked some easy ones in this game, but yeah, I think if you're, Şengün's touch has been off this year, particularly very early. But yeah, I agree. It hasn't been as good.
I cannot name the other two players who wore number 61. You're correct.
Yeah, I can barely name a football player who wore number 61. Roger Maris, that's good. I like that one. Now, I think the better question, Danny, will be, have I heard of the two players who wore number 61? Oh, Pod's questionable to return too. Yeah, actually, I haven't been catching up on what Twitter is saying. Yeah, this feels like we might be turning this off at halftime.
Yeah, that feels possible.
Protocol question: how much the calls up to the crew chief? How much the replay review official in Secaucus? I think when it's a foul call, that's more the referee. If it's something like a timing issue, like something that's more objective, then I think it's more Secaucus will try to take care of it.
Okay, Nate. I have the other two players. I will be intrigued if you know either of them.
Okay.
Bevo Nordman, who played for the Cincinnati Royals in 1962.
Bevo. How do you spell Bevo? B-E-V-O?
B-E-V-O, like the Texas mascot, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the other one,
he would probably really enjoy your mascot bracket that you do with your sister.
And then Dave Piontek, who played he played in the 50s and 60s.
Nah, I do not know those random dudes from that. Like, you got to go. It's got to be like 1985 or later for me to have heard of like some random dude. All right, we are back here. Yeah, let's see what happened if they have a report on Butler.
And so no word yet on Jimmy Butler. Brandon Podziemski, questionable to return. He was dealing with the stomach bug before the game started.
So Warriors could still certainly win this game with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Being down 14 doesn't help matters. They're going to box of one here. Post will take a wide open three, and he missed it. That should still be there, though. Spencer said he hit it off of Smith, but Referee did not agree. Yeah, that was a good shot there, though, for Golden State. Post is a really good guy to have against a box and one. Şengün picked up by Spencer. Turns into the lane, double team, turns again, and he beat both of them. What a move.
Twirling toward freedom. Yeah, that was
Post is just getting destroyed. I think he was still expecting Spencer to kind of be there a little bit, but got to know the scouting report a little bit better there that Şengün is going to spin if you overplay him that much. And that's it for Butler. He is out for the evening, apparently, according to the comments. Did we see that he's out for sure?
I have not seen that. No. Oh, RJ saying Haynes has it.
Draymond turns the corner and throws it away. That was a terrible pass, but yeah, pelvis contusion will not return, says Chris Haynes. Yeah, Warriors have also confirmed that. That's a problem for Golden State.
Yes, it is.
What are the Warriors doing defensively? I guess this is man-to-man. They throw it weak side. Eason, he drains the three.
I thought it was a 2-3, but I'm not sure.
Well, they would have to actually make a shot to get into the zone. This is Houston. Warriors are 3 of 13 from three. Kuminga, maybe Kuminga can get going here. Tough fadeaway. Nope. Stopped by Şengün. They run the pick and roll to get Şengün onto Spencer. Good rotation by Spencer. Smith over Kuminga. Not even close. Draymond has it. Spencer will push it up. They're going to look for Steph on the weak side here. Kuminga fires the three. Got it.
So, Nate, the Warriors currently have 23 points. When do you think they will have 40? Which is what the Rockets have right now.
It'll probably be at some point early in the third. Draymond guarding Van Vliet. Şengün going at post again. That time, I think Draymond dug down and stopped him. Here's Spencer. And he finishes nicely. Spencer has pretty good athleticism, and he knows how to use his body to ward off the defense. Golden State, 5 straight points. Drop coverage. Şengün. Post just backs up. Şengün missed the floater. Draymond tells Post to screen away. Post to the basket. Oh, these post dunk attempts are not going too well in this series.
They're kind of like the Ricochet ones on the draft film.
I appreciate going for the lefty jam, but I think he would have sprited that even if Smith hadn't been there.
Oh no, that was more like preserves. There ain't no jam there.
Draymond will take a seat here, and I wonder. Ime Udoka tells the matchups to be switched. Post will sit down. Looney is in. This is a very limited offensive lineup around Steph. Steph coming off the screen. Good job by Eason getting through it. Steph getting to a spot. Eason is still there. Good cut. Spencer goes to the right hand and finishes. Yeah, Spencer, he's almost like a guard version of Guy Santos. Van Vliet getting by Kuminga. I mean, that's just not good enough from Jonathan Kuminga. That's why he doesn't play right there.
I mean, Jonathan Kuminga has all the physical tools to be a very good, if not better, perimeter defender, and he just has not been that. Like, it's as somebody who is low on Franz Wagner and continues to be, and who, Kaminga and Wagner were drafted one after the other, that it was just like, Kaminga could absolutely be better than Franz Wagner, but is not at all.
No. Well, and Wagner knows how to play. Kaminga just does not.
And I mean, the pulling up when the guy's behind you, I don't consider that nearly the same kind of grift as some of the stuff we saw last night from Brunson, or
Well,
honestly last night from Jokic.
particularly not when like Kaminga was running up his back the entire play.
Yeah. And it originated by Van Vliet beating that same guy, like one-on-one.
Spencer has Santos underneath, got stripped. Van Vliet got over there. That needs to be a finish for Golden State.
If anybody doing the NBC broadcast is watching this, never just switch to a fun experimental camera angle during action. Please just don't.
Into Looney. Spencer turns the corner. Spencer goes in again. Missed it, but Looney was there to clean up as Adams had to challenge the layup.
And it's down to a 13-point deficit.
So they have to put Kaminga on Green. Adams sets a screen. And part of that's Looney not really being in position, but that's also Kaminga running directly into the screen. Steven Adams is a brick wall, but because Kaminga can't get over that at all, Green has acres of space to split that. I'm surprised, though, that they have Looney up that far on that play.
I don't know what the reasoning for that is. It's not like you're super scared of the shot coming out of that.
Well, I guess what I would say is you can get away with it because they don't think Adams is going to make a play on a short roll.
Yeah, I guess.
And a lot of that is about the screener as much as it is the guy with the ball. Brick walls wish they could be Steven Adams.
He's a block of granite.
True. Oh, we got to do this one of whether Post is the least athletic guy playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, playing is a good clarification on that.
So Steph will screen for Kaminga. Kaminga finds Steph. Steph on the attack. Steph has done nothing so far in this game. Here's a three by Kaminga. He made one earlier. That one went in and out. And I don't mind that shot, honestly. Like they tried to get it to Steph. It didn't work. Who else is going to take it? This time they switch with Looney. Maybe that's why he was up before. Green shooting over Looney and hits. Up to an 18-point Houston lead. Curry turns the corner. Underneath Santos, off the glass nicely.
That was terrible transition defense from the Rockets. There were 3 different Warriors open.
Yeah, but all because they set the screen right at half court on Steph. Everyone's worried about that. That's the gravity of Steph Curry. Same play they just ran. This time, Green gets out of it again, pulls back. Nice move. Remember, of course, Jalen Green and Jonathan Kaminga were teammates on G League Ignite. Now Kaminga trying to post up. Looney looking to interact with Steph. Locked up by Eason. Finally, they get it into Steph's hands. He lamp posts around and missed the floater. Looney, he's got great hands too. Kick it out. Three-pointer Spencer off the glass.
Oh, if there was no backboard.
And Spencer is not a good shooter. They've got Şengün guarded in the post now by Santos. This has to be a double team. Looney looking to come over. There's the spin moves, and Şengün is going to be tripped. I didn't see much contact there, honestly. I thought Şengün spun so violently that he just knocked himself down.
There was a lot more contact on the Gary Payton trip than on that one. That is
Yeah.
the
There
Warriors.
might be one. Let's see it here. Nah.
Nope.
Nah, that's he just fell.
That is the Warriors' fourth team foul, and the Rockets only have 2.
Yeah, so Danny, I'm very concerned that Jimmy Butler was ruled out this quickly.
Same.
I think I'm concerned that he may have some sort of like an actual fracture. Or I mean, he couldn't move regardless.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it, but Adams hits the first free throw. He was 0 for 2 in game 1.
Well,
I mean, I'm not saying it's doom, but it's also not a good sign. Yeah, not much amend this half. Yeah, he's got 3 fouls, so that's he's been on
3
the
fouls.
bench.
He also got hit pretty hard on that same play. But I
Yeah,
think
you
it's
know what? That's true. You're right.
yeah, and Dylan Brooks hasn't either, but he also got 3 fouls early. And it's not like the Rockets have needed those guys. What are they going to call here?
And Şengün picks it up. Quick ruling on Butler just to save him for next game, most likely. No,
No, that's not
they
most
just
likely.
as much as we like to sit there and be like, yeah, they're never going to win this game anyway. They look like shit in the first half. That's just not how any team is going to think.
Oh, we can briefly we'll save it for a stoppage. Never mind.
Curry on the ball, screen, rescreen underneath Santos. Nice rotation. Looney was tripped from behind. That's going to be 3 on Şengün.
And that's the 4th team foul on the Rockets, but unfortunately for Kevon Looney, he does have to shoot free throws here.
Yeah, so this, you've heard of shorting the pick and roll. This is longing the pick and roll. He throws it all the way down under the basket to someone who's open against the double team, and then that guy, Santos, was able to find Looney with inside position on the roll to the basket. Looney is the oldest 29-year-old ever. Well, he actually he looks younger this year than he did last year. Amazingly. Last year he was definitely the oldest 28-year-old ever. Can Spencer defend on the ball at all? I don't think so. Not very well. Like he's a good team defender. That's why I mean I think he's better than Santos, but he's not. I don't know. He's like a pretty good straight line athlete. I haven't really seen much from him moving his feet laterally. Green. Oh, blew by his man, but that was Kuminga and Looney who stopped him.
What was Guy Santos trying to do there? He recovered. That was quite the save from Jonathan Kuminga, and then he just lost it.
How does Şengün's game compare to Nate's favorite player, Sabonis? Well, I think Şengün had a better playoff game than I remember Sabonis ever having. I'm sure he had one in his Indiana days when they were getting killed in those series that was better than Şengün, but like at least Şengün has way more ball skills, way more ways to score. If you just leave him space, he can face up and go right to the basket and score. And I think he's better in the post too. Passing wise, maybe in the DHO games, Sabonis is a little bit better. Doesn't turn it over as much. Sabonis probably a little better rebounder, but Şengün is way better, I would say, as a rim protector.
Yes.
Sabonis is actually pretty decent moving his feet for the player type that he is. But Şengün, I think, will protect the rim a lot more. So I think that Şengün, the last 2 years, has been better than Sabonis at any point. Best player of all time to guard Stephen Curry. And what Chris Dunn did the other day was pretty impressive.
Like
Caruso.
Pippen?
No, because you need someone who can is small enough to get through a screen. Like Pippen, I don't think was someone who was unbelievable getting over a screen. Like he just wasn't. It has to be someone in the modern era because those old school guys just couldn't actually, um, didn't have to get over screens at 35 feet. And it's also got to be someone who can guard Steph in an ISO too.
Sure. I mean, isn't the obvious answer Donatas Motiejunas? But
Tony Allen, I don't know. I think these bigger guys can just get screened a little bit more easily. And that's why I kind of like Dunn because he's just such a plastic man getting over these screens and then recovering.
yeah.
And you also just need unbelievable awareness too. Kevin Love. It's I'm trying because no one really Fred VanVleet actually has done a very good job over the years.
Yeah.
Because so much of it is about just attentiveness. Now, it's helped that a lot of the schemes that he's been in, it's just been you have zero help responsibilities whatsoever. Just stick to him. Yeah, the best Steph defender is Anthony Davis. No, there's something to that, honestly, because he can switch onto him and then also protect the rim if Steph blows by the initial defender.
Early in his career, somebody said Drew. Early in his career, it was Drew Holiday. I mean, I actually, I once tried to get a good answer out of Drew Holiday. And, it's because Santos never caught the ball. That was the problem.
Yeah,
but yeah,
what was that? Why did he just drop the ball there? That was weird. Drew used to get lit up by stuff.
yeah, there were stretches of both. When he was on Philly, and right after that, Drew was good, and
Yeah,
then
but
after that, it got
the
worse.
once it was the Steve Kerr system, Drew
Right.
would get lit up.
Yeah.
But honestly, there really was nobody. Like if you weren't at Steph's peak, if you weren't switching, you just didn't have a chance. From 2016 to 2022. And it really was maybe more than anyone ever. It's like a team thing when you're dealing with stuff. Into the post, Looney trying to double screen away for Steph. Instead, Peyton missed the dunk off that split cut action. They had a triple split cut going there with Hield and then Steph going to come off, and they got that easy slip to the basket. Peyton missed the dunk. They're putting Peyton on Jalen Green now. Green eludes him off the dribble. Looney switching out. Şengün in the post. Green forced a switch, so they have time. VanVleet to bail him out. Peyton couldn't squeeze the rebound. Şengün kept it alive. Green is wide open. Off the heel. Steph looking ahead. He's got Kuminga. Look out for the dunk. Kuminga, nice finish there. A loping Euro step.
And that's something Jonathan Kuminga being intentional in transition can be a huge difference for the Warriors because they don't really have that many of those guys.
Golden State hanging around at least a little bit here. Here's the three for Şengün off the back rim. A rare three-pointer for him. Now Steph on the drive. Kicks it out. Peyton didn't want to take the corner three. Right decision. Healed right back. VanVleet off the screen, backs up on Hield, fires the three, and that's just the type of shot that Houston was so desperately missing in game one. Curry, double teamed at the point of attack, tries to draw the foul, And he makes it somehow. What a ridiculous shot. And yes, the Golden State Warriors have 40 points already, Danny.
Yeah, before the end of the half.
Steph pantomiming that his shorts were grabbed. Hield is on Green. Green behind the back. Creates oodles of space. 3 threes in a row for Houston.
Who do they think they are?
Now Curry eludes 2 guys. He drains a 3. That's 6 3-pointers in a row. Double team at the half court. Almost a backcourt violation. Van Vliet wants to set up the 2-for-1. Gets the screen. Good job by Hield in the passing lane. Şengün. Looney just left him, and he hits it in.
This has been a really long rest for Draymond Green, who's not in foul trouble.
Yeah, that is surprising. Now Curry on the attack against Green. Runs into Looney. Now he's double teamed. Good double team there by Şengün. I love that decision to go because Looney was in a situation where he couldn't do anything to be a threat.
And it's going to be the second Jalen Green, Stephen Curry jump ball of this game.
So a jump ball coming here between Steph and Jalen Green. Steph with a running conversation. It's David Guthrie. Houston, 60 points. Yeah, Danny, you do really have to question Draymond only getting 15 minutes. And he's come in now. Not great for Golden State that they're 8 of 19 from 3, and they're trailing this badly. Houston, I'll have to take a look at their shot chart shortly. Houston only, a big problem for Golden State, they only have 4 steals. And
well, the Warriors
what is going on here?
The Warriors are 7 of 17 in the paint. That's not what they're looking for.
Steph won the tip. It's loose, but this could be Houston ball. No, Golden State ball. Excuse me. I missaw it. With 9 to shoot, Golden State should get the last offensive possession of the quarter.
And so they're going with an offensive configuration here. Quentin Post came in. Looney's going out.
Draymond getting serenaded by the crowd. Moody will be the inbounder. Steph looking to carve out space on the near block. Goes and gets it. Lots of physicality off the ball. Draymond looking to set the screen. Steph blows by Smith. Tries to finish. Nope. Holiday gets it off from way out. And Houston leads by 14. 60 to 46. Golden State's half-court defense, non-existent. And we'll be back for the second half.
Well, if you're going to have light now, then I'll put my light on.
No, I just had the wrong setting on my camera, actually. It's the lighting has not changed at all. And it's all just from the side. It's not the light that's right in front of me. All right, well, first half was definitely weird. Jimmy Butler is out. I assume Pajemski will be as well. Rockets had 60 points, actually made a few threes, 7 of 19. Offensive rebounds actually didn't matter that much because although Houston had 8, they only had 4 second chance points, got a bunch of them on one possession. Golden State actually had 3 offensive rebounds and 9 second chance points. So Gary Payton will start the second half along with Quentin Post. So no Pajemski, no Butler. Şengün gonna back down on Payton, rolls across the lane, but Payton got an arm on him as he turned.
Lots of foul trouble in this game as we set up the second half. Brooks, Amen Thompson, Alpert, and Şengün all have 3, and that's Gary Payton's second.
Van Vliet directing traffic. He wants everyone out of the way so he can go to at Şengün and Post guarding him. Nice flare screen set by Amen. Jalen Green. Jalen Green is actually a very good spot-up three-point shooter. And that was all Van Vliet directing traffic, forcing Golden State to overload. Amen set the flare screen. Really good offense by Houston. Curry underneath. Split cut action coming here off the Moody screen, and Moody couldn't really get the screen well enough. He's going to get past Şengün, though. Good peel switch there by Jalen Green. Payton's three-pointer is way off. And that's where putting Moody guarded by Şengün has really helped Houston because Moody just isn't a good enough screener. Brooks just went right through that screen. Here's Post going to fire in transition. Still looking for his first 3. Payton underneath. Moody backs up. Payton with the twist screen, slips to the basket, Post in the corner, still can't get it. Moody runs right past Şengün, but then had it taken away. Yeah, Warriors could really use some of these post threes. Like, that's good offense for them. He's just not making them. Şengün handing off to Green. Green going right at Post. Not much of a contest by Golden State. Steph hasn't really been on the ball yet. This time he sets up Post. Post drives in. Amen steps up. Great rotation here by the Rockets. Payton in the corner. Brooks is there. They dare him to shoot it. Payton tries to drive, goes right past him, but Brooks blocked him.
Great defense there by Dillon Brooks, understanding what Gary Payton didn't want to do.
Here's a 3 for Van Vliet. Draymond got out there and surprised him again, man. After all these years, he still surprises these three-point shooters. Draymond is in the corner. He fires wide open and cashes out.
I believe that's the first Warriors made 3 of the second half. Might be the second.
The first Warriors points of the second half.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
60-46 at halftime. Payton trying to force Green to use the screen. Good left-handed pass there by Jalen Green. Şengün slowed it down. They got the open 3 out of it, but couldn't cash out. Here's Curry off the Payton screen. Rolls quickly to the basket. Payton moving. Moody's corner 3 is off. Nice closeout by Amen. But you see how much more effective Payton is as the screener and roller than Moody. Haven't really had a stoppage here yet. Green off the pick. Snakes it. Back out Şengün. Wants it back. He's got Post on him now. Trying to force Green to his left. Now Post switches up. Green steps back. Three-pointer off. Steph runs down the rebound. Nobody with him yet. Van Vliet very on him. Steph on the drive. Got Brooks in the air and finishes.
Great deceleration and fake there. Kind of messed up Brooks' timing trying to contest the shot.
Yeah, Rockets bigs did not do a good enough job of getting back that time. Van Vliet off the screen, attacking post and pick and roll defense. Thompson, that's too hard of a closeout by Draymond. Why does he need to close out that far? And now they're going to give up an open 3. They just got lucky. And then Şengün got inside position and tipped it in. And Steve Kerr will get a foul. Or sorry,
Timeout.
timeout. Man, I'm as under the weather as Pajemski, maybe. Why post? They just need more offense. They just need the floor spread more. He's actually a great shooter, and he gets a lot of threes off. I mean, they don't have anyone else like him, and they are still guarding him with one of their. They're really, I think they're guarding him with Şengün mostly. He's a really good spacer. Now he's going to struggle on defense. He's probably, I would say, the biggest reason, in addition to the fact that Jimmy hasn't been available, why their defense has not been very good. But I understand going there.
So we got asked a question, I think it was during halftime, asking to help understand comment from yesterday, assessment that Dylan Brooks is not an elite defensive guard.
No, Dyson Daniels.
Dyson Daniels. Sorry. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Well, did I say he's not an elite defensive guard?
I mean, I think it's more, we talked about who the best guards were.
Yeah, that Chris Dunn is better than him, and way better than him. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just that he can go games without you really feeling him. He gets a lot of steals, but I don't think he's great getting through screens. I don't think he's great contesting shots because he doesn't have the longest arms. And he also isn't great on some of the bigger, more power wings either. So he's very good and he makes a lot of plays. But other than getting steals, I wouldn't say he's in the top 5 as a perimeter defender at the other aspects of guard defense.
Right. It's just like anything else. There are a lot of different components, and he is the best in the league by far. Well, I mean, Dunn's per minute steal rate is actually somewhat close, but there are a lot of different, just like we talk about all these things for offensive players, like passing and screening and shooting and all that. Like defense has just as many elements, if not more. And so
yeah, Dyson Daniels took 0 charges this year, at least as of, the 70 game marker.
And I believe Dyson Daniels isn't like a great supplemental rim protector, which some of these guards are. Like, so there are a lot of different things you can do. So like, he's very good at specific parts of it, but then he's not a set it. And the best way I can say it is that he's not a set it and forget it defensive option. And you can be an impactful player without that. Daniels is great proof of it, but I prefer a lot of some of the other guys who can do more things. Caruso and Dunn and Amen. They're probably the cleanest above them. And I mean, classifying Amen by position is a little bit tricky because he's bigger than the other guys, but he also takes those assignments. So if you can get somebody who can move like Amen does and be taller, then by all means.
Should Kuminga take his qualifying offer to leave? I would say no. I think whatever the Warriors offered him, he probably should have taken it, unless it was like $20 million a year. Anything more than that, he should have taken. He didn't, and there's way superior players to him that got 30, and he supposedly, again, they'll dispute that, of course, but he supposedly turned that down. Nobody will offer him a 2+1 max, I would think. If so, obviously the Warriors will not match it. They do need to re-sign him, though, and re-sign him on a tradable contract.
Yeah, because then he could be matching salary. So the other challenge, the reason why Kuminga probably shouldn't sign the qualifying offer, that we'll get a lot more context, is because he'll know what the offers, he'll know what offers were on the table, what offer sheets were on the table, and unless they're horrendous, and if they're horrendous, then what's going to happen in the next year to make them better?
That was nice defense there by Şengün. Post eludes him, though, on the reset and finally makes one. That was really nice by Şengün initially because Amen got screened and Şengün had to pick up Curry, but then the Warriors moved the ball. And that's why Post is out there, because that was Şengün's man. Now the Warriors are going to their matchup zone. Draymond on the back line. Really more of a 2-3 look. Brooks in the corner, misses. Amen lost it out of bounds. Had good position.
After their struggles last game, Houston 122 offensive rating, and 113 in the half court.
Draymond in the post. Here's Curry. Van Vliet tries to step out there. Van Vliet actually has the matchup on Draymond, so they can switch that. Here's Thompson, kicks out to Brooks. Brooks has post, shoots over him. And that was one of those circumstances where that looks like a good contest, but it's not, because Dillon Brooks knew for sure he could get that off. That was a good contest on Curry, though. He goes flying. Transition for the Warriors. Green, Van Vliet, Thompson with the slow step, got the crowd oohing, and then Brooks with the three.
And the Houston offense continuing to look healthy, and they haven't done much in transition in this game, but they haven't needed to.
They short the pick and roll, post into the corner. Draymond has one corner three, make it two in the quarter.
Green, 7 points, 2 of 4 from the field, all of which are threes.
Brooks feeling it. And he's run into by Curry. This is going to be an offensive foul. It is his fourth.
Stretch the leg. I'd like to see a replay on this, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Kuminga is going to check in. Brooks looking. Ime Udoka used one challenge successfully. So, yeah, they're going to say he stuck the left leg out unnaturally. Curry pointing at Brooks to indicate that that was the case. And Podziemski actually going to return here, interestingly. I mean, this could be, considering they said it was something that he ate, it could be perhaps he was suffering some gastrointestinal distress that may have dissipated at least a little bit. Into the post, Draymond. Screen away for Steph, tries the back door. Post retreats. That's really powerful there, actually. That is a very interesting action to be able to go to. Houston doesn't want to put their center on Draymond because he's so good at interacting with Steph. So they're putting him on post, and post has been getting the looks. Golden State back into contact as close as they've been in some time here. Amen, corner three over Green. Misses. Oh, Kuminga couldn't squeeze the board. Late reacting underneath Thompson. Finds Eason, who goes right into Green and post and gets stuffed.
I think that was a really nice pass by Şengün. I need to see another replay on it.
Here's Podziemski, fresh out of the locker room. Missed that corner three. That could have cut it to single digits. Eason stopped by Curry, holds onto it, kicks out to Green. That was a huge exchange there. That missed three by Podziemski, and great job by Eason staying under control to make that pass.
And it was a risky gamble by Curry to dig that far off of a good shooter. I mean, Tari Eason doesn't usually make that pass, but he can.
Podziemski. Green now post. Pods will just take a set shot. Kuminga tried for the steal and couldn't get it. He's just a little slow reacting, right? If he just goes for that right away, he waited a beat, maybe he would have gotten it. Here's Green over his old Ignite teammate. That could have pushed it back to 18. Curry has still been very quiet. Into the post, Kuminga. He should just go to work here. They're going to try the split cut action first. Curry just gets out of his way. Kuminga blows right through Green, not even close.
And the first part of that was what you're looking for from Kuminga, understanding he has a mismatch, getting in the spot, but you have to make the finish.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good shot. Like, that's a shot that you got to be pretty pleased with. Rockets looking to push it back into the high teens here. Green against Post. Knocks him backwards. And the acrobatic finish by Jalen Green. Post was late getting up there due to some sort of communication difficulty. They went to that double high screen set. Curry has Kuminga in the corner. Loads up. Warriors getting corner three after corner three right now.
Yeah, they're 13 of 30 on three-pointers so far.
Yeah, if Golden State's defense can stiffen a little bit here, they could get back into this one. But the fact that they have Quentin Post out there has really been a problem. Green's waving everyone away. Crosses over. crosses over again, gets to his spot. That's a tough fadeaway. That was good defense, but it was all because Draymond Green was behind the play. And what do we have here? A foul on Draymond's pass? Something involving Pajemski. But if you go back and watch that play, Jalen Green is crossing over. That was a hilarious push there by Eason. And good job by Pajemski managing to flop on that to draw the call. And yeah, is that a transition take ball? I guess it is. Pretty obvious one. This is our second transition take ball in as many days, Danny.
It's incredible.
So anyways, I was starting to say Draymond was behind post. And so just as it looked like Jalen Green was going to turn the corner, Draymond kind of looked like he was going to come over and stop Jalen Green, but he never actually had to come over. Green had to pick up his dribble. Santos is in. He's guarded by Jabari Smith. Steph working one-on-one on Van Vliet. Van Vliet continues to hound him. Steph tries to break through him and Adams. It's loose, and Jalen Green comes up with it. Eason goes between two guys, three guys, and finishes.
Tari Eason is aggressive in transition. Worked out for him there.
Eason has been fantastic. Kuminga going downhill at Adams. Tries the wild reverse over the backboard.
And I don't know if Jonathan Kuminga, like where he took off from, he didn't leave himself enough space to finish in the way he intended to.
Yeah, I wonder if the people calling for Kuminga, how they're going to feel. He's 1 of 5 on twos right now.
He has made a couple threes, but yeah, I mean, he hasn't been fantastic. And I mean, we also saw him get smoked by Van Vliet a couple of times.
Doesn't it feel like the Rockets should be up 25? Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, the Warriors are drilling a ton of threes. I mean, they're 13 makes on 30 attempts. The Warrior, but yeah, I think they absolutely could be. But the Warriors also, they're not making anything in the paint, which has been something Houston's done really, really well in this game.
For those of y'all who joined us late, this is one of our last simulcasts on YouTube. That is because we actually make some money if you watch on playback. So that's which we don't really on YouTube. Also, YouTube, there's got the ads on there. If we want to have some discoverability, we have to leave those on. That messes up the viewing experience. But most importantly, playback actually now has a rewind function. It's available on desktop. They're supposed to come out with it on mobile within the next couple of days. I was told tomorrow, in fact. So I hope you all will bear with us. I think the playback experience is a lot better. Also, if you have a VPN and League Pass, you can just not even have to worry about syncing and just watch the game with us. So that's why we're doing it that way, but wanted to let y'all on YouTube know. I know it's always kind of a pain to change your viewing habits, but I hope you'll agree there's a reason for it.
Great to see the trio of Cunningham, Mobley, and Green putting on some good play, doing well in the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely. And young players, it's always an experience to see them. I mean, not all of those guys in the first playoff series, but a number of them are, and they're putting it together. It takes time.
Any chance Post becomes a good to great defender of Brook Lopez development curve? I will give him a lot of credit because he's gotten much better this year. He's already 25, I think. I wouldn't say he is a legitimate 7-footer, but he doesn't have that crazy standing reach that Lopez does. Like, Lopez is just so big. I don't see that with Post, but he's a better shooter than Brook Lopez, I would say, right now.
What does a VPN with League Pass do? So American League Pass viewers are not able to watch due to the restrictions within the United States. However, viewers in other countries are. So if they think that you are in another country, whether you are or you actually are not, then you can watch because you are a League Pass subscriber. That's the long and short of it. Which hopefully I didn't get wrong, but I don't think I did.
You got it right.
How has Kerr adjusted to Butler being out? I mean, could Jonathan Kuminga's in the rotation now? They used Pat Spencer as the backup point guard in the non-Steph Curry minutes.
Yeah, VPN. It seems like the UK is the place to turn on your VPN. Does this feel like Golden State can get back into this one?
Can, yes, will, probably not.
Yeah, they just got to figure out how to defend better. Butler is actually massive for their defense, just with his rotations on the back line, getting some steals. That's the other thing Golden State is really struggling with right now, is they're not forcing Houston to turn it over. Houston only has 7 turnovers.
Yeah, they're losing the possession game, but in part because they're not getting the turnovers.
Yeah, back to really, I think this is more of a 2-3 from Golden State. You see the guys in the corner will come up if there's no one there. Green going right by Santos. Tried to find a good peel off by Santos. Eason got it back. It's loose. Vacuumed in by Looney. Golden State was briefly as close as 12. Had a 3 by Pajemski to cut it to 9 that missed. And then Houston got another 3. Steph, great job by Van Vliet getting through that screen. And Steph's going to get a call here. I didn't see a ton there, to be honest.
I didn't either. Maybe there was an arm on the shoulder, but I didn't see it very well.
And that's Kevon Looney setting that screen. He knows how to set a screen, and Van Vliet was right there when he caught the ball. We'll be able to pause the sync and playback. Yeah, if you're on desktop, you can do that right now. You can hit the rewind button, and then the mobile app will have that in the coming days, I'm told, as soon as tomorrow. If the Warriors are destined to be champions, should they be winning this game without Butler? I disagree. Houston is really good. They have a really good defense. Golden State is really dependent on Butler as the only guy who can do anything as a second scorer. And then also, I think Golden State was going to lose this with Butler anyway, because this is the game 1 home loser effect.
And also, the Warriors' defense hasn't been good enough, and Butler's absence is a part of that. But they're good. Their defense is going to be a lot weaker without him.
Yeah, still that 2-3 zone again. You can see again though the baseline men come up and then retreat when the guard is in position. Houston kind of bothered by this. Their late clock, they've done absolutely nothing so far. Now Hield squares up the ball. Amen goes in on Looney, triple pump, nothing doing. A rare transition opportunity for Golden State. Kuminga had a dunk for Santos if he had seen him. Now it's Hield on the drive. Curry lost it. Great defense by Jalen Green staying with him. But Guy Santos was running the floor. All Kuminga had to do was bounce it out into space ahead of him, and they had a dunk. This 2-3 is working pretty well here for Golden State right now, though. Mm-hmm. Again, you've got Curry and Kuminga are the corner guys, but they get further up the floor. And because a men isn't capable of occupying a corner, those guys can really get above the break. There's another miss. Houston's getting absolutely nothing against this zone. I would even go to this zone on a miss. Curry has Smith on him. Double team. Looney goes right in and lays it in. Excellent recognition there by Looney. And this is as close as the Warriors have been. And it is a good timeout by Udoka, even with this circumstance, only 1:10 left in the period, because they got to figure out this zone. They can't have these just totally useless possessions against it.
Yeah, I totally agree. You need to work something, figure it out. And
best floater shooter ever. The answer is Nikola Jokic, and it is not close.
His touch on those is incredible.
And especially when you consider he also shoots a lot of other shots from that range too. But if you think of a floater, if we're defining that as a shot where you're at least moving somewhat towards the basket, then Jokic is the best. Like Parker was pretty good, but statistically Jokic is the highest volume guy there and the highest percentage. Again, it's hard to know whether that's some of those are like post ups and short fadeaways, but and that's kind of part of the floater too, I would say.
Somebody said, you guys have any idea why refs this year have started waiting to call the foul until after they see miss? That is not anything remotely new. That's been very common. And there's both a positive and a negative explanation for that. So the positive one is sometimes it takes time to call something, or you seeing a miss, you play it back in your mind. The more negative one is, oh, that guy missed. There something happened, and that thing was nefarious. And it's honestly a mix of all of those, depending on the circumstance.
Warriors going out of the zone now. They knew that Udoka would have a zone play set up. Smart move. Smith fires, though, over Buddy Hield. Should they have stayed with the zone anyway as it was working? Then Kuminga just not paying attention. Neither is Looney. And Green is going to dunk it all over the Golden State Warriors. That timeout from Udoka, they get 5 straight points, and they're right back in control. And Golden State presumably had an ATO set up there that they just didn't get to. Now Santos forced out on the floor. Curry gets off the screen and fires. Van Vliet tried to get out there off of the passer, Santos, but couldn't get there as Curry finally gets open. Now they're back in the 2-3. Got Şengün in the middle. This is Jalen Green, and the Rockets shooting has been everything that they needed it to be in this game. Seems like every Golden State three has been answered. Here's Steph, double teamed, down to 11, and looks like we got a foul out on the floor. That is a foul to give, according to the scorebook.
It is a foul to give. That was only Houston's third of the quarter.
Jalen Green has 30 points. He's taken 15 three-point attempts and made 6 of them. Also has 6 assists. He had 4 in the first quarter. More importantly, 2 turnovers.
I was going to say that Jalen Green is it's a big. He has half of their made threes. He also has almost half of their attempts.
Yeah, they should probably take him out here, though, for defensive purposes.
I agree. They have better defenders.
Here's Curry fading away over Van Vliet. Not even close, man. Van Vliet defends him really well. You would think that Steph could blow by Van Vliet, and he just hasn't really been able to do it. Smith is the inbounder. I always wonder why they have him inbound, because he's not the greatest passer. Smith's going to try to throw it into the front court. Gets it to Van Vliet. Shoots it over Green. Ooh, he almost made
close.
that. A 16-point game. If it gets to 20, we'll probably turn it off in the fourth quarter, but stick around here for a little bit.
27-25 in favor of the Houston Rockets overall in the quarter. Jalen Green, 30 points, 6 of 15 on threes, 4 of 6 on twos. For the Warriors, Curry has 19, 6 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 8 assists, but he has a bunch of turnovers. What does he have, 4? 5.
Yeah, Golden State's turnovers their offense actually has been good enough since that first quarter. But part of that, again, is because they've been playing offensive players. Another problem for Golden State is Curry's on 31 minutes already. He's going to need to take a break here, and things could get out of hand quickly at that point. I imagine we'll see the double big group and the zone with Curry off the floor. How's Fred VanVleet playing? I think he's actually playing great, despite the fact that he has 1 field goal and 1 assist. I think his defense has been really, really good.
And they don't need him to do more than that if the defense is this good. I mean, their offense has been great without him scoring a ton of points.
What are the best counters that Golden State has come up with Steph? I mean, the one that always works is just putting him on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's that they don't want to do as much. Another one, obviously, is going backdoor more. Probably the best one is, oh, you're not going to guard Draymond Green or you're not going to guard Kevon Looney. We're going to throw it to him in the corner, and then Steph will run off of that guy for a handoff and get a three off his screen because there's no one to pop back up.
Yeah. How many series do you think will go to a 7th game? It feels like Clippers Nuggets is destined to.
I think Wolves Lakers headed there too.
I'll see how I feel after game 3. I think that's very reasonable.
How about Pistons Detroit? I think those three
Maybe
I have a good chance of getting there.
I mean, and depending on what happens with Jimmy Butler's injury, this one definitely could as well. Is this a good enough performance for you to adjust your priors on the series for the Rockets? I mean, yes and no. I thought the Rockets had a really good chance of winning the series before it started.
I thought this was a 51-49er.
And if Jimmy Butler misses additional time, then of course that changes things.
Or
is limited.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a. I would say I don't feel much different about the series than I did at the very start, assuming Houston holds on to win this, which I think they probably will.
Which team do you currently like of the Houston Lakers, Wolves, Warriors group to make the conference finals? Oh, it's really tight.
I'd say Golden State if I got to pick one. Another turnover involving Kuminga. They tried to get a pick and roll up top and then Kuminga rolling to the basket, but that didn't work. So Golden State in a switch everything mode now with post on Van Vliet. They don't go there. Instead, double team Şengün in the corner. Brooks trapped against the sideline, gets out of it. Draymond comes over to help out. Brooks has to shoot an impossible fadeaway, and he makes it.
I guess they're saying the ball got knocked out of Brooks' hand by a Warrior because he definitely had it twice.
Draymond fires the three. He'd hit a couple. He'll usually get more aggressive from three in a more limited unit, but couldn't get that one.
And no Pat Spencer out here right now.
Yeah, with Pajemski, that's the bigger reason Pajemski was playing was Spencer was playing was no Pajemski. Here's Brooks into post, who stripped it. Post looking to find Kuminga. He'll slip to the basket. Kuminga trying to turn the corner on Smith. Left it well short. He's gotten a few good shots, has struggled to finish. This is, I think, one of our first Şengün straight post-ups on Draymond. Draymond leaning on him. Şengün wants to turn left shoulder. Kuminga came over and fouled him.
And at first I thought that was just Şengün moving around, but I think he caught his hand. And Kerr's, I think, kind of like, well, this is why I wasn't playing him.
Yeah, if they go up 20, I think it's probably time to turn this off. Double team on Van Vliet. Adams a little slow getting it to Brooks out of the short of the pick and roll. Short roll, I should say. Here's Brooks, and he runs out of time.
Yeah, he thought it was a 26-second shot clock.
That's funny because he usually shoots it pretty quickly. But that time, I think it was Moody who came over on Adams and just bothered him so he couldn't make the next pass. Houston zone with the double big alignment. Trying to get Draymond in the middle. Moody. Smith flies by. Moody misses the corner three.
And again, great rebounding by Steven Adams.
Yeah, Warriors have had a few open shots. Rejection of the screen by Van Vliet. Gets the space on post and rims it in, and that's going to do it for our coverage. In almost all likelihood, Steve Kerr has got a timeout. And this series is probably going to be 1-1. So we'll talk about it later on Dunked On tonight. One other thing I want to tell you guys, though, we are actually going to do our live pods, not on YouTube, but on playback after games on Sundays and typically Thursdays. So tomorrow night we will do it'll be a separate show probably because we'll need to rewatch some of the games. There's 3 games, but maybe 30 minutes or so after the game's end, we'll go live on playback so you can get your questions in about the games there as well. Thanks so much for joining us.